Can makers keep up their hot streak? Let's dive into the Steward's release. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Hutch. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the world of whiskey. So, eager to dive in today to review Maker's Mark's newest limited edition release, the Steward's release. This is the third release in their new chapter of their wood finishing series. Way back when, 4 or 5 years ago, they essentially announced that they had finished the wood finishing series with barrel entry proof, BEP, that bottle. I really liked the series overall, and then they kind of stopped it or went on hiatus. New master distiller came in, saw some shakeups, and then they started basically chapter 2. So far in chapter 2, we've had the Heart release and the Keeper's release, both of which I thought were very good. The Keeper's release, in fact, was one of my favorites from last year and like a sleeper pick in that $70 to $80 range. Just really good limited release from makers and widely available. I still see that sitting on shelves, and I'm curious why people aren't grabbing it when I think it's quite good whiskey. This is the third release, the Steward's release. With this whole series, they're really trying to highlight different people and honor different people who go into the craftsmanship process of distilling and making Maker's Mark. The stewards are the people who oversee that entire process. Whatever that means, it's a little bit vague what chapter 2 is really supposed to be all about. I liked that chapter 1 was all about exploring the different ways you could change flavor profiles by barrel entry proof, or where it stands in the rick house, or toasted, profiles. And I like that they were exploring that. This is a little bit less distinct, but the whiskey's been pretty good. In terms of just general stats on this one, it is finished with 10 virgin oak staves, so just regular old kind of oak finish, or oak staves go into their barrels, which is a unique thing that Maker's Mark does. Bottled in January of 2026, but has been hitting markets more in like late March, early April. I'm getting to this one a little bit late because I went on vacation. Again, it's their release in 2026. Proof point here is 109.8 proof, so that's pretty good, pretty standard cask strength for Maker's Mark. Doesn't say anything about age. They don't usually say much, but tends to be in that 6 to 7 year old age range for Maker's Mark. Excited to dive in. On the front it does say vibrant, raw honey, and stone fruit for the tasting notes. Vibrant isn't really a tasting note, more of a overall description. So let's see what we think of Maker's Mark, the Steward's release. This is a $75 MSRP bottle, so fits right in line with all their other bottles in terms of the limited releases from the whole wood finishing series. It's not cheap, but it's not uber expensive for something a bit more limited. All right, see how good it is on the nose. Okay. It's starting to be real nice weather here in the Cincinnati area, and this is a great spring bottle. It just smells, I do get the raw honey, I get a kind of a flowery aroma, a little bit of like berry sweetness, raspberry. I do see some plum or stone fruit. Could even be like an apricot. Maybe even a peach. It's nice and vanilla as well. And I can anticipate a little bit of like a lighter oak spice. Seems to be coming through. But again, I like the nose a lot, and what it screams to me is like a spring, more refreshing, herbal, or not herbal, but floral and honey forward expression. Let's go in on the palate, see how it translates. Cheers. Yeah, I like that a lot. It is quite different from the typical Maker's profile that I feel like I'm used to, and different from what the other wood finishing series releases have brought to the table. The Keeper's Release and the Heart Release, I feel like brought a lot more maple toastiness, wood sugars. This leans all the way into that honey. It does have that raspberry, cherry, pitted fruit aspect to it. It's got some florality to it. Sorry, florality is a terrible word. I shouldn't be using words like that. Big words, stupid. Tastes a little flowery, all right? And then there is like a peach quality to it for me as well. So pretty refreshing. And then it did have good spice. It has, I wouldn't call it like a cinnamon spice, more allspice, a little bit of wood tannic aspect to it on the back end. All right, let's go in for a second sip, see if we can pick out some more flavors. Cheers. Yeah. I really like the honeyness, like the honey forward aspect of this. And that peaches, a little bit of peach, a little bit of cream came through for me on that sip. It's got plenty of cherry. It's a little bit, I don't want to say tannic or astringent, but it's got a bit of like a sting to it. And not like a blooming spice, but more of like a, right in your face. And I hate to say it, but they put vibrant right on the front. Not really, again, a description of the notes, but it does capture sort of the essence. It feels lively and it feels a bit jumpy, like pop rocks a little bit on your tongue. All right, let's go in for a third sip. I'll try to avoid pretentious words like florality for you and sound like a normal human who's just sitting here drinking some bourbon. All right, let's go in. On the third sip, I'll evaluate the finish and the whiskey overall. Cheers. Okay, a little bit more like toffee or butterscotch is coming through on the nose. Starting to get some of that wood sugar element, candied element. Cheers. All right, so working through the sip all the way, it does start out with that raw honey note, kind of transitions into some of the spice and stone fruit aspect, like a cherry and then some peach for me, which is really nice. A little bit of raspberry in there as well. And then it starts to get a little bit tannic, a little bit wood chippy, if that makes sense. It's like a lighter, toasty, even touch of smoke on the wood aspect for me. A little bit tannic, a little bit drying, but balanced out by some of that like underlying vanilla cream, butterscotch sweetness that starts to come through. But all the way through the sip, it's got that more floral and a little bit earthy because of that raw honey aspect. So they actually did a pretty good job with the tasting notes, as much as I made fun of them at the beginning a bit. I do think that captures the essence of what this is. It's a great spring whiskey. I am really enjoying sipping on it. I have been throughout April here, starting to crack into this one a bit, and it's just matching that spring vibe really, really well. Overall, 75 bucks. I think that's breaking even in terms of value. I wouldn't pay more than MSRP. I think in the new bourbon market that we're seeing, you probably shouldn't have to pay much more than MSRP for this. I think I paid 80 bucks for it. So that's about the max I would go. I would not go more than $5-10 bucks over MSRP, just for sheer convenience. If you see it at that price and you don't want to have to hunt around for it, I think it's worth that. Maker's Mark continues to do well. I am definitely going to need to taste this against the previous two in the series and really see the differences, but I can tell you, this is a very different profile. And so I can see some people maybe not liking this one as much just because of personal preference, but in terms of the quality of the whiskey, I think it lives up to the established brand and does a good job holding down that $75 price point. I think that's pretty fair. Let me know in the comments below though, have you tasted this one and what did you think? I do think the limited release series, the wood finishing series from Maker's Mark, stands tall or does a good job of representing something that's a bit more limited and still affordable and relatively available for the average consumer. If you're looking to upgrade to just something a bit more than the typical cast strength Maker's Mark, this is a great option. But would love to hear from you. While you're at it, hit the like button on this video. That's what gets it out to the most people. And then if you haven't already and you did enjoy any bit of this video or any video from the Bourbon Hutch recently, had even a little bit of fun, you gotta subscribe. That's the new rule. got to subscribe and join us for the rest of 2026. Click the button below, do that, and join us for the journey. Until I see you guys again for another video, all I can say is keep drinking good whiskey and cheers.